and welcome to the Walking Dead Maniacs. I'm Felix,
And I'm Gina.
and we're here to discuss the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon spin-off show, episode 1 through 3. We're not going to do a play-by-play, but we're just going to give our thoughts so far for the past few episodes. Gina, what do you think so far about the whole? And then we'll talk about episode 1.
As a whole, I think he's doing very good on a standalone spinoff. I keep I'm not going to lie, I'm looking for the other characters every time he's on the screen, but he's doing a good, he's sticking true to form, he's sticking true to Daryl. So that's refreshing. The only problems that I have with it are the same problems that I kind of always have with The Walking Dead, and that's leaving survivors to come back and do more damage.
You mean they
So
should take care of business right
yes,
then and there, not
right,
yeah.
yeah. I know a lot of
I,
people disagree with that, but I'm like, no, just, how much time and trouble would he have saved if he just got rid of the governor and got rid of Gareth and,
yeah.
you know,
Myself, I see what you say where you see him and you kind of look at the background and you want to see someone else you recognize, and then you realize, wait a minute, he's not.
yeah,
It's not the show, it's his own spin-off. And I
right,
see why they did that, just to make it its own thing. But
yeah,
yeah, I can't wait till the second season because I know Karen, I don't know how, but Carol's gonna end up being
right,
with him up there. So I'm waiting
right.
for that. But as a whole, I'm liking it so far. Maybe a little bit better than Dead City.
See, I'm not.
Um,
I'm not liking it
you're
better
not.
than Dead City. No, I really liked Dead City. I am honestly, I can't wait for the second season, and I'm hoping that they don't finish it the second season. I hope that it gets renewed again. And maybe it's because there are, two characters on Dead City or something. I don't know, but I don't think that I'm enjoying it as much as I did the Dead City.
I think with Dead City, the Lauren Cohan plays Maggie. She did say that it is set up for 3 to 5 seasons,
Right.
so it's going to go a little bit longer, and
Yeah.
hopefully they
So,
pull in some of the other, because it is in the states, so it'll be
right.
easier to pull in some of the other people that we know
I
from the
am
Walking Dead proper.
I'm not a huge fan of the or the 6 episode seasons.
Me neither. I need it to be a
I
little bit longer. Like Daryl, right now it's already halfway over, and it's like
Right.
I'm gonna want more after it's done.
Yeah, and and I've watched a lot of other reactors and stuff, and they're always complaining about the dead episodes, the episodes that really don't seem to add anything to the storyline. I don't look at them like that. I look at them as they're fulfilling the entire storyline to me. I
Yeah.
don't look at them
Well,
as
like
dead
my
episodes.
least favorite episode is episode 3, and episode 3 is the one that actually moved forward the storyline because we
Right,
find out that, well, let's start with episode 1. Episode 1 was a little somber for me, a
right.
little artistic, I guess, but I did like it. I liked
I
when he got
I did
to
like
the
it too.
I liked it when he got to with the nuns. It was funny because my boys, I don't know which one said, they're gonna turn out to be like ninja nuns or something like that. And then they go into the room where all their weapons are, and all the nuns did put up a good fight. Like they
They
killed
did.
all the bad guys. Yeah, most of them died, or not all of them, but they did kill all the bad guys except the one dude. I kind of like that the one dude, I forget his name, but his brother, died. So I could
Right.
see his motivation. So we see his motivation. He's not just a mustache twirling, bad guy. He
But who killed his
has
brother?
one of the nuns did, or Daryl did. I forget.
No, it was that girl with that old man. She run up to Daryl when they showed up in that little
Oh yeah,
courtyard,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. You're
she
right.
said, "Save your iron," and she stuck that stick right through his chest.
Yes. So what was it? A girl or a little boy? I thought it was a
And
little
no,
boy.
it's a little girl. You
Is it?
remember in the very beginning, the first two people he
Yeah,
met,
yeah.
the old man and the girl, and then the brother shows up and he smashes in the head of the old man, and I mean,
That's your yeah. I misremembered. I thought he died in the church, but yeah, you're right. He
yeah,
did die in
no,
the
he
beginning.
died in that little courtyard thing, and
And
the girl is
wait
the
till
one
it
that
comes
killed him.
out. Yeah, wait till that comes out. I bet because he's got to get his vest back. So I
Yeah,
see that girl or boy coming back at the end of the show, and I
right,
bet it's gonna come out that Daryl's gonna tell the guy he's the one that did it or she's the one that did it.
right.
Then the big bad's gonna kill the kid and leave Daryl to live, and then Daryl's gonna come across his vest back because the
So,
kid's the one that took it.
yeah,
But yeah, back to the first episode. I thought it was good. It was I thought the second episode was better. I love him and all the
I
kids.
I did too, but my biggest fear was when that episode was over. I thought, oh my God, he's gonna come and he's gonna find all these kids and he's gonna kill all these kids.
Oh, the big bad.
That was my fear. Was that we were gonna have to see him come in episode 3 and kill all of those kids.
I
Thank
think
God
they're
that
gonna.
didn't happen.
I
They
think
didn't even
it's
show him go to the kids. He just straight to Paris.
yeah. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's Why didn't the kids go to the castle?
I don't know because that was a much better
Yeah, because all
fortified
they have to
area,
do
and all
is
the and he
what?
already had it stocked. They wouldn't have had to move anything except their own personal belongings
Yeah,
because he had already taken everything, scavenged everything. It was all in the prison,
yeah.
or not
Really
in the
quick
prison, in the castle.
in the castle.
I'm
I
hoping
believe.
that they come back again. They were. I liked them, and I think Laurent needs them to show back up because he can't be the only kid.
Yeah, I totally agree. You could see the way he didn't want to leave them. He felt
Right.
like home with them. So I think somehow, some way that's going to come back. Speaking of Laurent the kid, what do you think his prophecy is? Do you think it's just in their head? I mean, his mom did die as a walker, so as she was giving birth,
I
what do you think
I
about
have
that?
to be a skeptic. I have to think the same thing that Daryl said at the last of episode 3. Maybe he's not supposed to be the next, Messiah. Maybe just him alive is already your miracle.
Yeah,
Maybe you need to quit putting so much on him and just let him be
be
because
a
just the
kid.
fact that he's alive is already the miracle.
Yeah, I
So
get that. What about the reveal about his dad?
I'm not shocked.
I knew that dude was going to come back again because they
I knew he
focused
was
on
too.
him too much on the flashback. I didn't see that, but he does seem like a sleaze, so
Yes. Now,
I
the
see
thing that I
him
want to
doing it.
mention, the thing, and this is totally off the subject, but for some reason it really hit me hard in episode 3, or no, maybe it was in episode 2, but before Paris fell, she's at the club, she just be bopping around, she's a pickpocket, she's going around
Yeah.
picking everybody's pockets, but it just seems like everything's great, and then she goes outside and the whole world is falling apart. Did all of these huge cities, did they all go down in one day?
I think it happened within a few days to a week. It probably started gradually, but as time went, like days into weeks, I think it just happened pretty fast. So yeah, I mean, she was a pickpocket, and good thing she was the way she was because now she gave Daryl, drugs and stuff
Right.
that she stole back in the day, so he can use to trade off to get back, back to the U.S., back to the Commonwealth.
Right.
What do you think about the club and all that? Yeah, the one they went to.
I think her ex-boyfriend or whatever he is the ringleader.
Same here.
Obviously.
Yeah. And speaking of which, do you believe that the now the bigger bad, the one in all black, do
Uh-huh.
you think they're CRM or just another
I'm thinking
person?
she looks entirely too much like Huck's mother not to be CRM.
That's another thing I didn't think about. She does a little bit.
She is dressed exactly like Huck's mother was, pretty much. I think they have to be CRM.
I think all the CRM we're gonna get is probably gonna be in the Rick and Michonne series, The One Who Lives. I think that's
Right.
all the CRM we're gonna get. I don't think we're gonna see it much in the other shows.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think it's going to be as big as they made it out to be. I
Right.
really think it's going to be a smaller entity. That there's
So,
other bigger bads in there, like the people in black in the Daryl show.
right. Was it the CR? It was not the CRM. No, never mind. I'm thinking of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth. They were not part of the CRM.
No, but do you remember towards the end the I don't know who it was, but someone from another organization went by train and went and visited Pamela.
Right. Yes.
And they left, and I was like, well, who's that? They didn't
So,
have the three ring circles that CRM on their clothing, and
right.
the bigger bads in the Daryl show don't either. So that's
Right.
why I thinking there's another organization even bigger than CRM.
I know that we said we were going to break it up into episodes, but in the very first episode, when he gets off the ship and he goes to that room and those walkers are there and he gets burned by acid, or the walker touches his arm and he gets burned. And then he goes to the where the nuns are and they put some salve on it.
The
So
nun
I'm
says
assuming
something.
that that's different than a walker bite.
Well, I remember the nun saying something like, "You got lucky that we were able to treat it." So maybe it does, but it does it a lot slower. And since they were able to
Yeah.
treat it, that's why nothing happened to Daryl. But I like that they
So,
came back around at the one where Daryl used the acid from the blood to break the window and to cut through the trees and stuff.
right.
I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So is it a form of, I mean, it can't be radiation because you can't just put a salve on a radiation burn. If you could
That's
do
true.
that, then. So it's not radiation.
It's some kind of acid blood. I don't know.
So it makes me think that whatever's going on that ship, they're the ones that are creating this.
Speaking of which, what was up with that huge ass walker that died in 18 seconds after he became really strong?
I think that they were testing him to see how long after he turned did it take him to break those chains.
Okay.
I think they're trying to build a super walker. And I think that those ones that burned Daryl or whatever were the first phase, and then they just kind of let them go. But she even said that there were. She said she called them the hungry ones, and I don't know
Yeah.
why she called them the hungry ones. Because aside from the burn, they didn't seem all that much more threatening than a regular walker.
Well, they
I
called
didn't see them.
the ones that burn burners, and I think they call the other one hungry ones, as in the way we call them walkers.
Oh, okay.
I
You're
think
right.
it's
They
just a
did call them
nickname.
burners.
Anything else you want to throw? I mean, I kind of like a couple of throwbacks where that little girl kind of reminded me of Sophia coming out of the
Yes.
barn a little
Yes.
bit, that scene. And then the two brothers, the one brother, really upset about the other one, kind of reminded me of Daryl and Merle.
Right.
I just see a lot of little callbacks. I'm kind of liking that because,
Right.
oh, and the guy in the cast on the second episode, his name was RJ Grins or something like that. That's too close
Was
to
it
RJ
JR? Was
or
it
JR.
JR?
Yeah, JR
Yeah.
Grant, something with a G, and I'm like, that's too close to RJ Grimes.
Was it JR
I'm like,
Grant?
something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
something
you
like
got
that.
it. But I'm digging all the callbacks because
I
it
am
just puts a
too.
little smile on my face while I'm watching it.
Yes.
But
Well, and
yeah,
it takes a minute to catch them. Sometimes I have. Did I just hear that right?
yeah,
Because even Laurent told him, "You deserve a happy ending, Daryl."
yeah, exactly what Judith told him
Judith
in the
had told
last
him.
episode. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
There is. I keep forgetting to mention this to you, but it seems like in every episode there's a line or two that just really strikes me as impactful.
Go on.
And I don't remember which one it was in episode one, except for the fact that when he was in the ship and the tape recording said, "Honey cries a lot. She wants her mom." And I thought that was very, very poignant as to where the world is. He says there's no safe place. They've been everywhere.
Yeah.
And then in the second episode, I liked it when Was that the second or the first episode where she said, "How did you get here?" And he said, "I made a bunch of wrong decisions."
Yeah.
And then he asked her, "How did you get there?" And she said, "A bunch of good decisions." But then in episode 3, when they're at her apartment getting the drugs and everything, she just kind of looks up at him and gives him this little sly grin and says, "I wasn't always a nun." And he said, "Yeah, I got that."
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
So
a lot of I do like the writing in this.
I do.
It's not a whole lot, and a lot of it's in French, but everything's just straight to the point, and I'm digging that.
Let's talk about the kids in The Walking Dead. We all know that Chandler Riggs, he was either loved or hated. There wasn't a whole lot of in between. You either loved him or hated him. And for some, he really grew. They formed an attachment to him later on.
Yes,
Judith is
that
just,
actress is awesome. Yeah,
she's amazing. And this little kid that is playing Laurent,
it's good too.
and he's just so likable. And they do that with quite a few, even of the younger people that are just on the show. Um,
I get what you're saying. They do really good when it comes to the kids,
they
and
do.
again, they pick good actors because again, Charlie Chandler Riggs was really good as a kid.
Right.
But I also like all of the kids that they picked in that second episode of the Daryl
Oh
show,
yeah. Yeah,
like the
those were
leader, that
great
girl,
kids.
and the way she wanted to take out the main nun that was watching them, and
Right.
she grew in that episode.
She knew that as soon as their teacher passed, and that's what Daryl told her, these kids look up to you. You're going to keep doing
Yeah.
what you've been doing. And I think she accepted that when he said that. She knew that it's now up to her to keep these kids alive and safe and learning, and she needs to do as much as she can for this small group of kids, and I hope that nothing happens to them.
And just because this just popped in my head now, them walking by Jim Morrison's grave and Daryl pointing that out,
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
that was cool. And
But
my
go ahead.
favorite scene in all 3 episodes, was after Daryl gets out of the bath and everything, and he's sitting on that ledge, and he's scratching his head, and Laurent's scratching his head, and he's eating the apple, and Laurent's eating the apple, and he's just mimicking absolutely everything that Daryl does. And I don't know if that's because he was so starved for male companionship again, or what his reasoning beyond that was. I think there is something special about Laurent, but I don't think he is the one that's going to come and save the world like she thinks he is.
I agree. I
Because
believe
he's very
he's really
smart.
smart. Yeah, I believe he's really smart. He picks up a lot, and he's beyond his years. But being the savior, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's too far for me.
right. And Daryl prayed. Whoever thought that they would see that in The Walking Dead?
Speaking of which, when they called him Father Daryl, he looks at
Yeah.
her.
Yep.
He's like,
Yep.
Father
So,
Daryl.
but it definitely it's a very likable spinoff.
Yeah,
Um,
like I said, I'm digging it. I actually like it a little bit more than the. I think the my main big gripe with Dead City is that Maggie and Negan had already buried the hatchet,
right.
and it starts with them hating each other again. And
Yes.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't
It's
either, but Herschel hit on it at the very last episode. He feels like she's never seen Herschel for who Herschel is because she's always so focused on
what
Negan.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, that she can't even see Herschel for who he is. I think that that's what they wanted to bring out in the first 6 episodes in her own way because of her anger and her total hatred for Negan. She has somehow neglected Herschel.
yeah, I totally agree with that. What do you think so far? Give me a rating. What do you rate these 3 episodes?
These 3 episodes all combined, 7, 8, 7, 9. Like I said, I'm not enjoying it as much as I am the Dead City. Maybe it's just because I want some of the other characters to come in, and the Dead City had 2 characters.
You
So.
may like the second season better since Carol's going to join.
Right.
I'm saying about an 8, a solid 8,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. It's up there for me. I'm liking it. I don't know if it's just the change of pace or the change of. What are you thinking of all the French talk and the subtitles? Me, I'm liking it because I'm hard of hearing, so all of my TVs in my house are closed caption anyways, so it doesn't really bother me. What do
The
you think
only
about
thing that is bothering me is because I watch it in closed caption, that the closed captions on my TV are coming through in French and they're covering up the English translation.
it? You can fix that in your settings.
I know, but we both know how wonderful I do with that sort of stuff. So I
I'm
need to
not going to
get my
say anything.
closed captioning up. I need to get it up on the top of my TV instead of right there where the subtitles
Yeah,
are.
yeah. I
So
get what you mean. There's certain things where they say something and it covers it up or it
yeah,
says speaking French, but
right,
as it's telling you they're speaking French, it's covering up the English that they're
right,
that
yeah.
they're saying. So I get what you're
So,
saying. But yeah, I give
but
it a solid 8. And what do you guys give it? Comment below. We're at 3 episodes in. What do you guys give the Daryl Dixon show? Hopefully, we can do an end of the show recap for everybody, Gina, if you have time.
right, yes.
We'll shoot for
I would
that.
like to say something that I told my daughter. You know, when I first started watching The Walking Dead, they had just started season 4, so I was 3 years behind when I actually started watching it. And I remember my grandkids telling me that I was hooked on The Walking Dead, and I said, "No, I'm not. I'm hooked on Daryl Dixon." Um, but then I think it bothered me really bad that Rick left. I think, I understand the reasonings that Andrew Lincoln left, but it bothered me a lot that Rick left.
Yeah,
And but this spinoff has really kind of brought the season 1 and season 2 Daryl Dixon back in my eyes.
I can see that. I can see that. To me, it's brought back the more grown Daryl Dixon, the season, season 10, season 9, season 10, like right when Rick left, the way it was hard for him to accept and how he grew
Right.
from that. And that's what I'm getting with Daryl Dixon now. But I can see your point. I can see your point.
Yeah. Oh, and I got a windshield cover in The Walking Dead for my Tacoma. So I'm just sporting that around at work every day because I work 12 hours a day. So I just prop that right up in my windshield every morning.
That's what's up.
So,
Well, all right, guys, let us know down below what you think. And you'll see us again probably towards the end of the season or after the end of the season.
right.
And we'll be around for Fear the Walking Dead since it's ending, and then The Ones Who Live. Well, all right, guys, we'll see you next time on more of the Walking Dead Maniacs.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye now.